Share your screen with your audience. Okay, we are live. Here we go. Okay. Everybody know we are live. Welcome to the Grit Zone. I am your host, David, and we want to introduce you to a live feed where we talk about collision repair, paint repair. We are bringing this live to you to our sponsor. We're being sponsored by our product, ForcedGrit Magnetic Sanding. It's a new type of sanding. We decided that we wanted to go live and have some conversations. There's been some buzz on the internet showing the product, showing how it works. We just wanted to give you all the opportunity to get any questions answered. It's a very new product to the industry, and we feel it's going to do pretty well. And first and foremost, let's see here. I could open this up. Forgive me, this is my first time going live. So this is brand new. Let's see here. See if we can open this up. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. We don't have anybody in here just yet. Let's see here. I'll be sharing my screen. Everything looks good. Trying to figure out who we need to contact. Okay. We are here. We want to talk about grit. Okay. Welcome. Welcome to the Grit Zone. My name is David. I'm your host. We are here to talk about anything and everything concerning grit performance when it comes down to automotive, body, paint, and buff repairs. Of course, we are hosting our product. Our product is featured as one of those awesome things that we use, but we're not here to talk about the product. We're here to talk about sanding grit. Let's see. I have anybody watching at the moment, so that's okay. But the minute we get some people in here, that's going to be awesome. Let's see, share your screen, mute, pop up dashboard. Let's take a look at the dashboard. Okay. This is Grit Zone. Welcome to our Grit Zone. We just want to get here and just do some conversations, just talk a little bit. Um, Again, this is probably this is my first time entering into the Grit Zone. And let's see. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Okay. Introduce ourselves. Okay. Welcome to the Grit Zone. Okay. I want to welcome you to the Grit Zone. The live stream is dedicated to one of the most important topics in automotive refinishing, collision repair, fabrication, restoration, and surface preparation. Okay. We want to talk about grit. Every week, we're going to bring together body technicians, painters, shop owners, trainers, manufacturers, DIYers, enthusiasts, and industry leaders to discuss the science, techniques, the challenges, and future of grit selection and sanding technology. From body filler shaping and primer blocking to paint preparation and finishing. Grit affects every stage of this repair process. ForcedGrit was developed around the idea that better control, consistency, and surface leveling can improve quality, efficiency, and profitability throughout the industry. Okay. Topics we'd like to cover sandpaper grit progression, body filler and primer blocking, paint preparation techniques, wet sanding and polishing, surface leveling and panel paint flatness, shop productivity and profitability, new sanding techniques, industry trends and innovations, training and career development, live Q&A with industry professionals. Whether you're entering the trade or have decades of experience, Grit Zones is your place to learn. Share knowledge and join the conversation shaping the future of surface preparation. You can join us live and tell us, what grit sequence works best for you. What's the biggest sanding challenge in your shop? What topics should we discuss next? How you tried new sanding techniques or methods. Okay, you can always visit our website, ForcedGrit Sanding Blocks, www.ForcedGritSanding.com. You can also check us out on our Shopify channel website at whoyouLike.myshopify.com. And, I would always subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the latest updates on our new developments as they come along. Yeah, and let's see here. ForcedGrit. Let's see. Yeah. If you're just tuning in, thank you for taking a look at our YouTube channel. We're going to be hosting this once in a while. We don't have a stationary time frame. I will be here again tomorrow around this time. So, and we'll rehash everything we talked about today. pan. See if I can adjust that a little bit. Yeah, I need to pan that out so you all can see more. In fact, let me fix that a little bit. Be right back. Okay, we are back. Okay. Okay, what are we going to talk about today? Well, I'd like to take this first time around to introduce myself, introduce our product, and what we aim to achieve from not only developing our product, but also to kind of give you a basic understanding on what it is. And this is our product. It's called the ForcedGrit Magnetic Sanding Blocks. What these blocks are designed to do is to give you ultra flat repairs from the start. A lot of times we talk about sanding here. This is a whole new different type of sanding. It's completely different from traditional sanding. Actually, it repairs differently. Basically, let me go ahead and just kind of give you a brief tutorial on what this block does and what it's designed to do. Matter of fact, I'll get one that's already put together. Okay. Now, what we have here is our red block. This is our ForcedGrit Magnetic Small Block. What this basically does technically is, of course, you put your paper, any sandpaper that you have, it automatically cues in with the current material that you're using. Okay, and there's no special paper. It adapts to whatever is in your shop or in your garage, whatever you're training with. There's no secret sauce there. You apply the paper. First of all, if you get a set, it's going to come with either your hook it or adhesive backing. Okay, you get a choice. You can put either or on your block. Okay, and once you put these on your block, you can, whatever paper you're using, mainly inside your shop or your garage, it'll adapt to it. Okay, this one has the hook it backing, so we got the hook it paper that's going to go along with it. Okay, now here I have a set of 800 sandpaper. Okay, and anytime you're sanding or you're about to sand, what this is going to do is this is going to attach um, to your panel, providing the panel is magnetic. Okay. How you use it basically is there's this dial control. What this dial control does is this dial control, when you turn this dial, you control how much force the the magnets that are inside is going to control the sanding grit. Either it's going to apply itself coarse, or it's going to apply itself in a fine stabilization type of way. So when you turn this dial clockwise, that is reducing the grit force. Okay. So whatever paper you have on here is not going to use all of its grit. It's going to use a portion of its grit. It's measuring the grit that you use. Okay. Because since it has its own pull force, you're not applying any force. It's doing the pulling for you. Let me grab something to show you. Again, this is my first live, so we'll be putting it all together here in just a second. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Now that we have we have a okay. Okay, hit the wrong button. Okay, now that we have a piece of metal, I can show you what this does. Okay. Now, we'll do other demonstrations. We'll go into the shop, and we'll have panels. Like we've got hoods, fenders. We got everything we need, inside our shops. But with us being here at the moment, we'll work with these pieces of material to show you to emulate what's going on when you are using the device on a panel. So what we do here is we set we have the device. We'll set this over here so it's kind of out of the way. There we go. Okay. Now what this does basically is we use this okay. When you turn this dial controls the grip performance of the sandpaper. And what I mean by that is the magnetic stabilization adjusts. So when you have whatever size sandpaper that you're using, it will adjust as you change the dial. If you want it to be more of an aggressive cut, let's say you're using a 180. You got a 180, but you really want to use an 80 but you don't want to introduce 80 scratches into your repair work. So initially what happened here is that when you turn this dial, if you have a 180, you turn this dial and it will create enough friction that it will respond like a 180, but without it'll respond like an 80, but without the 80 scratches. The idea is for it to cut like a 180. That means you're trying to remove a lot more material, okay? And the reasons why we go up on grit is to move more material. But you take the chance of creating a more aggressive cut pattern that would be more difficult to get out. So technically, if you can use a smaller grit pattern, but with the same grit force, you have an advantage. And that's what this product does. It gives you an advantage in certain areas. Now, providing if we have a 180, we turn that dial. We turn that dial now. Now, I will tell you this. Whatever size paper you have, okay, the number 3 is your indicator of that size grit. Let me adjust my screen here so I can be a little bit more accurate. Okay. So here we have the dial. When you are adjusting this dial, okay, and let's say you have a 180 on here, but right now we don't have a 180. Let me just use what we have. What we have now is an 800. Okay, there we go. We have an 800 grit. Okay. Now we want this 800 grit to perform more aggressive than 800. So in order to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to turn that dial counterclockwise. 3 is our indicator. 3 is the indicator. 3 is the indicator of whatever grit size your paper is. Just 800. What is 800 right now? And let's say we want this 800 to perform more like a 600. Yeah. Okay. So technically, what you're going to do is you're going to turn this dial counterclockwise. And when you turn it counterclockwise, that's going to give you the performance of a 600. When I say performance of a 600, it's going to remove the material as if it was a 600 because of the pull force. We just strengthened the pull force, which cuts more without using a more aggressive grit. Okay. Okay. Instead of using the 600, use the 800 to perform like a 600. And then once you cut that, and by the way, it stays completely stabilized. Okay. It stays completely stabilized. Okay. All right, we're back. Okay, now that it's staying flat the whole entire time. This thing about this particular style of sanding, it wants to stay flat. Okay, it wants to stay flat all the time. It's gonna keep its contoured shape as you're sanding. Okay. Now, let's say this 800. Now that it's set to more like a 600. We want to turn it, no, it's just like when you're using a sanding block. You want to use the next grit size to take out the previous grit size scratches. And instead of me taking this paper off, okay, we're going to turn this dial. And this dial is going to take away the heavier grip performance to a much lighter grip performance. And what it's going to do is it's going to take out those previous scratches. Okay? It's going to take out those previous scratches without you having to change the paper. You just turn the dial, and this dial is going to raise those teeth up just a little bit. So you're not using all of it, and then it's going to, when it starts to cut, it's going to cut away those previous scratches. Okay? Remember, it's applying its own pull force. You're not putting any pressure on it. You're not guessing how much pressure to use. It's doing that for you. Okay. Now, let's say now it's at 800. It's set at the grip performance of the paper. It's set at 800. Now, when you turn this dial and you turn it again, you want to turn it clockwise. Now, and you're reducing the grip performance, the grip pull. You're reducing the grip pull for it to perform not like an 800, but more like 1,000. Because you're using less teeth, you're using less grit. And that's what these papers are. One has heavy grit and one has light grit. Without you introducing a whole fresh new paper, a whole new fresh new sanding pattern to your work, you can continue to use the same pattern. It's you know, because regardless if you put another paper on, you are introducing a whole new cut because those are fresh teeth. Those are fresh teeth on that grit. That new grit paper that you're grabbing. And so it's just up to you to balance that brand new grit paper. But with this is already conditioned. The paper you're using is already conditioned. Yeah. So now that 800 is responding more like 1,000 as you turn to its finest cutting pattern. Okay, and what does this do? You've rotated through the whole cycle without having to change the grit paper. Not only that, you know, in another session, not right now, but in another session, we are going to demonstrate how it sands on metal. We'll have a panel. We'll get a panel. We'll get a fender. We're going to get this fender. We're going to put some putty on it, some putty on it, and we're going to sand that fender. And we're going to show you how we go from coarse to fine without having to change any papers, any sandpaper. Now, what gives with that? Well, if you're a shop owner, it gives a lot. I mean, you don't have to. You're not wasting paper. Okay, when you go to that cabinet, it keeps anywhere between $4,000 to $5,000 worth of material in that cabinet. That has to be replenished all the time. I mean, it's a give and take situation. You know, you spend less material, but you're still buying a lot of material because cars are moving through. You're spending through cars. You know, the paint companies aren't going to lose any money because now they're buying more paint. Every time you look, there's a new car in the paint booth. Why? Because the body men aren't wasting time trying to level the repairs. They're turning cars. The paint area is always full with fresh cut ultra flat repairs. Yeah, you burn that issue. So, that's part of the things that we want to talk about. Um, Again, it's a brand new system, and we wanted to get on here so that anybody can have questions. We can get those questions answered for you. Um, you can always jump on one of our lives, have a conversation. There's a lot of professionals out there. I mean, these guys do amazing, amazing work. Have amazing skills. This doesn't take away from your skill. This enhances it. You know, I mean, it's a very, very unique product. Okay, and what we want to do is we want to always talk about it. Um, it's engineered. We are top engineers out of New York City. We decided we wanted to take a look at this. We went back and forth to the drawing board all the time. You know, Beyond anybody's going to offer you and tell you, hey, just slap some magnets together. You're going to make a painter real mad. Because once you lay that material down over that, you're going to see what you did wrong. So I don't suggest anybody to just grab some magnets and wrap some you know some paper around it, because you're not controlling the magnetic field. The magnetic field is what's controlling the sanding, not the magnets. This product is designed to control the magnetic field. That's one of the misconceptions you may want to run across, because it's very important that we make it clear about our position with this product. When we ran across the idea of the magnetic stabilization, we passed that stage. We looked at it and said, no. After we painted that panel, we saw all the scratches, and we're like, we can't control it. We need a control mechanism. We need a control mechanism for those magnets, or it's going to tear up the panel, and that's what it did. Yeah, so don't do that, or you're going to be back at the drawing board. And I wouldn't blame the shop owner and say, hey, don't ever use that in my shop again. If you get a magnet and you start wrapping stuff around it, that's not proper. That's not you need a control mechanism. Okay? Control mechanism controls the stabilization of the magnets. And what that does is it helps you control it, because there is no control by itself. It just tears up the panel. It tears up your work. It causes a lot more problems. Trust me. It took us 4 or 5 years to understand what was happening with this. We didn't want to just throw it out there and let the public figure it out. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to make sure we did test run after test run after test run. We did a lot of tests. It was very important. We wanted to make sure when we brought this product to you that it did not, it helped more than anything else, because this work is this is very hard work. I know I've been doing it for over 20 years. It's not easy. I had a lot of comebacks, just as much as anybody else. Um, um, so I understand all the problems that comes with um, performing a really good job, getting the job set right, exceeding customer expectations, and you got to realize it's the vehicle that you're working on is the next best investment to a customer than, I would say, their house. They invest in that car. They invest in that vehicle. That vehicle is a tool they use, to carry. It has a lot of memories. It carries the family around. It keeps everybody protected. It helps people make money. It's a necessity in life, and they pour a lot of hard money into that vehicle. And when they bring it to us, it's yeah, um, um, it's part of the family. So you always want to take proper care, in understanding what all needs to be done and how important it is, how very important it is. Okay, and that's the gist of it. So when we were putting this product together, we wanted to make sure that it was right. So, um, so here we are. The product it comes in three sizes. It's a small, medium, and large. This is a small block. Um, they all have the same stabilizing properties. Okay, and I am reaching in and grabbing the other sizes for you to take a look at. Okay. We'll grab one of the newer ones. And here's our medium-sized block. Okay. This is for your more medium repairs. It comes as a set. A lot of these block systems come as sets. We wanted to make sure we had the same capabilities, and this is our 8-inch block. This is for your bigger panels. Works really well with your big panels. Okay. And again, for those who are just joining us, we want to welcome you to the Grit Zone. This is a live stream dedicated to one of the most important topics in automotive refinishing, collision repair, fabrication, restoration, and surface preparation. And here we talk about grit. It's all we talk about here. We talk about grit performance, what grit does for you and your repairs. Every week we want to bring together body technicians, painters, shop owners, trainers, manufacturers, DIY enthusiasts, and industry leaders to discuss the science, techniques, the challenges, and the future of grit selection and sanding technology. From body filler shaping and primer blocking to paint protection and uh, um, and finishes. Um, Grit affects every stage of the repair process. ForcedGrit was developed around the idea that better control, consistency, and surface leveling can improve quality, efficiency, and profitability throughout the industry. Topics we'll cover is sandpaper grit progression, body filler and primer blocking, paint preparation techniques, wet sanding and polishing, surface leveling and panel flatness, shop productivity and profitability, new sanding techniques, industry trends and innovations, training and career development. We want to have a live Q&A and industry with industry professionals. You're just welcome to join us live. and tell us, what grit sequence works best for you. What's the best sanding challenge? What's your best sanding block? What sanding blocks you love to work with, and what converted you from one to another? Um, and of course, if you have questions about our product, we invite you to come and talk to us about it. This is a very new concept. Um, this is a new style of sanding. It's where you don't push down to repair. It's already pulling down to repair, and it gives you the opportunity to witness just a new style of sanding. Um, we do say that it does sand ultra flat repairs, and it does. We really do back that up. Um, but we have to get it into the hands of the technician. Saying it doesn't do it. It has to be performance driven. It's important that you hear from other people on what their experiences are, and here you can be joined by that. We can talk about that. So, we're going to end it right here, and we'll be back tomorrow. I will post the best time that we're going to be arriving. It'll be 1 hour long, and we're going to have a good time just having a conversation, and we'll be able to answer more of your questions then. And again, I want to introduce myself. My name is David. I'm your host of Grit Zones, is where we talk about everything grit. And because that's where it all kind of revolves around. And we want to, kind of give you a space to where you can have a conversation. A lot of times it always ends with, how good the paint job looked. But we all know, great paint jobs require it has a lot to do with preparation. Has a lot to do with preparation and how we prepare the panels. That does have a big impact on what the final results are going to be. And we believe we stumbled onto something that's going to be pretty great with that. So so stay tuned. We will be back tomorrow, and we wish you all a good afternoon, good evening, and also maybe a good night. And if you're just joining us, please leave a question in the chat. Let us know that you saw what was going on, and leave us your questions, and we will be glad to answer them for you. We'll even bring it on our live to discuss. We have a challenge. We chase excellence here. Yeah, that's what this whole thing is all about. And we wanted to make sure that everybody has the proper answers to all the questions that they may have about ForcedGrit Magnetic Sanding Systems. So you all have a good night, and we will see you all soon. Take care, and thank you for your time.